Hey gang, this is Leila here from the Comic Connection in Hamilton, Ontario with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we've got Dark Avengers number 2. This is by Brian Michael Bendis and the artist is Mike Deodato. This issue, the Dark Avengers go on their first assignment, and it happens to be to save Dr. Doom, who's being attacked by someone called Morgana Le Fay, who's basically a time-traveling dark sorceress. And it doesn't really go well for the Dark Avengers. I really liked this story, and the art was pretty good. The layout was a little confusing at times. That would be my only downfall to the book. But other than that, it's a pretty solid title so far, so pick it up. Next up, we've got The Warriors, number 1 of 5. This is by David Aitchison and Chris Debari. This is an official adaptation of the movie. That'll be done in 5 parts. So in this issue, we just get into the beginning of it where the Warriors are framed for something that breaks a truce, and they basically end up on the run from the rest of gangland. The art was pretty good, but the story wasn't that gripping for me. I don't know, it was only okay. But if you're a fan of the movie, you'll probably like this. And last but not least, we've got a send-in from R.M. Heske, sorry. This book is called Cold-Blooded Chillers, and it's sort of one of those books that collects 3 different stories, very much in the vein of Tales from the Dark Side kind of deal, where it's 3 stories that are not really related except for that they're all about supernatural events. So we'll get into the first one, which is called Shadow. The artist is Adam Zwetsky. In this story, there's a boy who's sort of forced to live a really tortured existence that really isn't that nice, until his prayers are answered in a kind of surprising way. I really liked this, and I loved the art. If you're a fan of supernatural stories, this was really cool. The second story is called Transcendence, and the artist was Reno Maniquis. In this one, a night watchman is grieving the loss of his daughter. It was really, really touching and heartfelt, and yet had that supernatural twist on the side that I really loved. You really felt the pain of the main character, and the art was just great. And the last story is called Synchronicity. The art's by Dirk Shearer. All the stories were written by Heske. In this one, a woman discovers that she's been chosen by weird protectors, or sort of guardian angels, called the Midwayers. But being chosen isn't all that it seems. I really loved this story. The art was only okay for me, though, not as good as the first 2 stories, but the story was really, really cool. So thanks for the send-in, and remember, guys, if you want us to review your comics, keep sending them in, because that's the only way we can read all the cool stuff that we'd like to.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we got a viewer send-in, London Horror Comic number 1, written by John Paul Kumath, and if that name sounds familiar, it should, because he's one of the co-writers of last year's film, Trailer Park of Terror, which I actually quite enjoyed at the Toronto After Dark Film Fest. So, if you're a fan of that, you're going to probably like this series. In this one, it collects a series of short horror tales, including a vampire with status anxiety, a comic writer meeting an alien fan, and several other tales to creep you out. I actually really like the art for this. It's very simplistic, and there's not much detail to it, but it really works well. There's also a couple stories that are only told without words, which actually works really well for a story like this. So if you're a fan of horror, this is a really good pick. Try and find it. It's out from Diamond now. Next up, Blood Plus Volume 5, written and drawn by Asuka Katsura. In this one, several months after the destruction of the Red Shield headquarters, Saya confronts Diva in a bloody New York showdown at Carnegie Hall. Now this is the final volume of Blood, so if you're a fan, this is a must. Great story, great art, and the ending is fantastic. It really leaves it open for it to continue later on. Now, I'm a big fan of this series, so if you haven't tried it, try it out. It's only 5 volumes. Next up, London Horror Comic number 2. Now this, again, is another send-in from John Paul Kumath, and as said before, he was the co-writer of Trailer Park of Terror. This book is not out in stores yet. This is actually an advanced review copy, so let me get into this. In this one, a daughter prepares a gruesome welcome for her mother, a pair of priests run over a vampire, and celeb culture tears a female super team apart. I actually really enjoyed this issue above and beyond number 1. The art was fantastic again, very undertoned, but very simplistic as well. I really enjoy that kind of style. Now, if you're this is a must-read. And last but not least, Gold Digger 103 by Fred Perry. In this one, Gina's class takes a trip to Shangri-La, where it's soon discovered Madrid is there. But is she now friend or foe? Once again, another fantastic issue by Fred Perry. Great colors, great story, great art. Gold Digger fans, this is a must.